Hi, I'm Mr. C. I just want to make sure. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that's running properly. Okay, so right now we're talking about the router. And what I want to do is show you proper router technique and how to set up the handheld piece of equipment. Okay, so this is a standard base router. And I just took it out of our cabinet. I'm going to loosen this up. And I'm going to slide the motor housing off. And then I'm going to place the router bit in the collet until it touches the bottom. Then pull it out about 1/8 of an inch. And then I want to tighten this bit in here so I don't have to worry about it going anywhere. And like I was saying previously, you don't need to give this the death grip or, exercise your muscles or anything like that. Just give it about 10-15 pounds of pressure, and that'll lock the bit in there just fine. And then you take your wrenches, you move them out of the way, or you put them back in the cabinet. My preference is you put them back in the cabinet where they belong. So that's back in the cabinet, safe and secure, so we don't have to worry about them getting away. Remember, a clean shop is a safe shop. And then we're going to take our base, our standard base, and I'm going to place this in here, and I'm going to rotate the motor housing until it gets to right where I need for what I'm looking for, and then I'm going to tighten this locking handle here. So now it has the base exactly where I need. And then whenever we're routing, okay, let me step over here. Whenever we're routering, we want to move in a counterclockwise motion. We also always want to router the end grain first, okay? What I also have done here is I placed down a rubberized mat. I have 2 different clamps on the material, so that way it'll hold this in place and it won't move on me whenever I'm routering. So I'm going to take this, place this just over the edge here so there's nothing in the way. I don't have to worry about running into any piece of equipment like the vise here. And let's go ahead and put this clamp on. And I always want to have 2 points holding the material down so that way it doesn't move on you or pivot. So I just go ahead and clamp it up just a little bit, and it's not going to go anywhere. Okay? Now, I'm ready to router. But one thing I want to talk to you about is the cords. Please don't wrap the cord tightly around the machine. It shortens the life of the cord. Basically, you can break the cord on the inside as far as electrical contacts. So the best thing I found to do, what lasts longest, is if we take our cord and we take this and wrap it in circles before we put it away, and then just tuck this just like so. So it ends up in a little circle like this, and there's no tension on here when you place it right next to the machine, and that's what you've seen inside the cabinet. But for us, we're going to go ahead and use it, so I'm just going to unwind this a little bit. So it's like this. Now, I need one piece of safety equipment that I don't have on my face right now, and that's safety glasses. I'll be right back with that, so that way I can show you how to properly run this piece of equipment. Okay, so before I plug this in, I want to go over the proper procedure as far as how you want to proceed in routering an edge. I have a 3/8 inch round over bit in here, and essentially what I would do is this is not a soft starting router, and that's why I chose this one to show you, is because it will kind of jerk or twist right when you turn it on, because like I was saying before, this is going to go from 0 RPMs to 21,000 immediately. So what I want to do is I want to have the hand that's over the material holding onto the handle here. I make sure the bit is away from the surface of the material. Once I cradle the motor, I can turn the switch on. Once it goes on, then I can start routering the surface. Okay? So what I want to do is I have this set up. I have my rubberized mat to make sure it doesn't move around. I have it clamped so it's not moving around. I have my hand in the proper place. I have my eye protection on. I make sure no one else is in the area that can get hit with anything. You gotta remember, whenever you're routering, you're gonna be shooting debris everywhere as far as little chips, okay? So, make sure that the switch is in the off position. And then that way I can go ahead and plug this in. Okay, I'm ready to router. I make sure the bit is away from the material. I do not plunge the bit into the material until it gets up to full RPM. Once it does, I'm going to move in a counterclockwise motion. Once I'm done cutting the surface or shaping that edge, I move the bit just slightly away from the material so it doesn't heat up that material and burn it. And I turn off my machine. I wait for it to come to a complete stop. Once it comes to a complete stop, I pick it up and I place it in the center of the bench. I set it in the center of the bench so that way it doesn't have the opportunity of getting knocked over onto the floor. Another thing you might want to consider doing is just unplugging it after you set it at the center of the bench if you're going to be using it multiple times but you're not using it again right away. Okay, so I'm going to cradle the motor. Now that my bit has come to a complete stop, I can pick this up, place it in the center of the bench. I'll unplug this, and then I'll show you exactly what I ended up doing to this material. This is what the edge looked like on the side that I haven't done, which looked like this side. Now you can see I created a round over on this side, and it's done from one edge to the other, okay? The reason why we router the end grain first, and this is a perfect example, is you see how it blew out this little bit of this? This now, if I would have done the edge first and routed the end grain, it would have blown out that side. That's on my finished product. Now what I want to do is this, is I want to router the other edge. So you'll see why you router the end grain first, then you router the edge grain. Okay, place my router here. I want to make sure it doesn't fall on the floor. Okay, now I'm going to cradle the motor like I'm supposed to, right? The bit is away from the surface. I turn it on, wait for the full RPM, then I go ahead and start my routering operation. And now that I've routed the edge, now that I routed the edge, I've cleaned out that blowout that happened previously. Okay? So, I'm Mr. C, we're in the wood shop, and this is how you safely run a router. Until next time, we'll see you in the wood shop. Alright? Bye-bye.